one, Return of Esther, and what that might mean. And, in the room, Julie has talked a lot about wanting to incorporate a kind of dark, warped fairy tale component to this season. And if the first season was all about this harsh, gangster-like take down of the vampire factions in New Orleans, this is the season where our heroes are dealing with the return of their monstrous parents and what that means to them.
I mean, people who watch The Vampire Diaries know that's a bit of an understatement calling Esther and Michael monsters. Pretty much the worst. Julie, the season premiere is titled Rebirth. Can you talk about that sort of in context of what we're going to see? Obviously it refers to hope and sort of where we left the end of last year.
Yeah, well, one of the things we like to do with our titles is we like to name each episode either a song lyric, a song title, a book title, or some kind of artist from actually the city of New Orleans. And so everything has a New Orleans context, and Rebirth, of course, is one of the most famous brass bands in New Orleans, and they were in our pilot. They did the Second Ride parade, so it has double meaning. It's wanting to honor that, and then also, just as you said, really, just kind of performing, thank you, the idea of people starting over after this grief that they experienced, or at least they have to both experience real and then fake experience for that community. And it's, what's everybody doing? How will they begin again?
Absolutely. Joseph, when we return in season 2, where do we find Klaus? Where's his head at? He made a lot of big choices at the end of season 1. What excites you about what you've gotten to do so far with season 2?
Wow, there's a lot of you. When we find him, he's locked himself away in the compound. He's like a caged animal waiting to make his move, to seek revenge on those who contributed to the sending away of his daughter. He's been doing a lot of painting, which, as we learned from it before, is a metaphor for control. So he's trying to sort of control his situation and control his emotions, and he's failing to control his emotions. And so we're going to see quite quickly into season 2 how Klaus seeks violent, bloody, merciless revenge. And in fact, is what has excited me most.
Violent, bloody revenge. I love it. Charles, where does Marcel fall into all of that? We saw him sort of kiss the ring at the end of last season. He seems to be back on Team Klaus. Is that sort of the least...
I wouldn't go there.
I was going to say, is that like the least easy alliance in the history of television?
The least easy? I think so. No. I like working with this guy, so I hope the characters can get back to the point where they're working together as a team. But it was a humbling experience.
Where is Marcel's head at? Does he feel like he's going to use Klaus until he no longer needs Klaus, and then he's maybe going to take his quarterback?
Yeah, he's a vampire, so he's got all eternity. I think he's going to use this time to work on his patience. Like that.
And your character.
And my karaoke skills. There's many hobbies and things that Marcel really wants to get into, and now he finally has the free time. So in a way, I guess it's a blessing. Did you a favor? Yeah. He's always looking out for me, this guy.
I love that. Now, Phoebe, obviously one of the big changes between last season and this season, no more baby bump. Did you have sort of a bon voyage for the prosthetic tummy?
A little bit. I was kind of wanting to burn that baby bump by the end. It got very big and very uncomfortable. I think I had that bump on for like a full term. I could have actually been pregnant. So it was on for 9 months, that baby bump. But it was kind of sad. Now it kind of became like part of the way that I walked and how I acted, and it was kind of sad now that I don't have it. I've got nowhere to hide my phone, my glasses.
How many things could you fit in the bump at a given time?
I can fit a book, my glasses, my phone, and sometimes like a hot water bottle.
I mean, obviously that's not the only difference. She's now a hybrid, which is crazy and exciting. What are you stoked for the fans to see with this sort of newer, more vicious Haley?
I think what's really cool is that, there's really no handbook for, vampire, werewolves, especially for hybrids. And Haley really looks to Klaus for guidance, and that's what we kind of find in the second season that relationship and that dynamic between the two of them. It's not really romantic. She kind of looks at Klaus as a bit of a mentor, and there's some really lovely scenes where Klaus is literally like guiding her step by step with like vamp hearing and vamp smell and things that Hayley just didn't know anything about. And it's kind of fun to kind of look at it like that, you know, you kind of have to start from like, you know, can't speak English. You know, start from, you know, the beginning, work it all out, and kind of working it out together a little bit. It's nice.
I was going to say, Julie, I feel like from the moment you introduced her on Vampire Diaries, I feel like Hayley's gone on the biggest journey maybe at this point. What are you sort of excited to be able to write for that character now that maybe you couldn't before?
You know, one of the best things about Hayley, and it sort of curses her the most, is that when we met her in the Vampire Diaries, in spite of all her machinations and what she was doing, and you know, her deep-rooted agenda was she just wanted answers about her family and where she came from, and she got those answers. It brought her to New Orleans. It got her into this little mess with Klaus that turned into kind of this beautiful blessing. And at the end of it all, after rallying the werewolves around her, drawing her family together, being part of this extended Michelson family, and giving birth to her own child, she had to lose all of it.
Yeah.
You know, so what do? You're a mother without your child. You were a Michelson who can't really accept where you fit in that family, and you were a prideful werewolf who now is, you know, a hybrid, which is the one thing that they probably despise more than vampires. That she doesn't have a place, and watching her try to find her own sense of strength and her own place in this universe is going to be a beautiful, powerful journey for her.
I'm just like, tell me what Daniel. Last season, I felt one of the most amazing things to sort of come out of Elijah's role on the show was the very nurturing relationship with Hayley that I think a lot of people seem to care for. And, you know, I think there's always a lot of conversations about, oh, is this a love triangle? Is this an emotional bond? I mean, I feel like, do you just want to sort of put the story to rest? Is this sort of, now that they have this shared connection, is this sort of moved beyond the love triangle and is this something more complicated?
I mean, it's exciting to me still. I mean, especially now that there's this sort of necessary restraint, like, you know, in fabricating the illusion of like, we lost a child, they've been holed up in this place for, you know, 2 to 3 months. And I think that there's, I mean, goodness knows what that had to have been like with the malevolence of Klaus and kind of the restraint of Elijah, kind of wanting to exact his revenge somewhere down the road, and Hayley somewhere in the middle of that. And also, I think that Elijah would observe a degree of distance to give Hayley her dignity, you know? I mean, I love anything Paula Room and all like that. I want to see them sort of continue. I want to see what emerges and blossoms from them. You know, I think that I mean, first of all, I just love acting with her. She's just amazing. She is amazing, and I want to see, you know, what becomes of it.
Absolutely.
I know I'm definitely on record as saying I'm confused. That I don't want that to be distorted into I don't want anything to happen.
Is there anything you'd like to add to sort of that conversation?
God, no.
Perfect. I would love to now move on to Leah, if I could. Tammy was somebody who, over the course of season 1, learned a lot.
Yeah.
And then was compelled to forget a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And learned some more and forgot some more. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of learning and forgetting.
Yeah, I was learning and forgetting for Tammy, season 1.
Right.
But now she knows, she's on her veins, she's got her stuff together, and she's like, I'm getting out of here, you guys are crazy. I'm going to be a human and remove myself from New Orleans. But she's really attracted to great bone structure, unfortunately.
I mean, you know, she obviously has a lineage that would keep her sort of in this power struggle given her family. So, I mean, what can you say about how she fits into the fight for the quarter this year?
I think right now she's trying to figure that out. I really want to see her be the person she always has been. You know, season 1 was a lot of her discovering mind-blowing things and having to deal with this new reality she finds herself in. And season 2, I'm excited to see her be more comfortable in her environment or just aware of her environment. And so you see, see the person she was all along, who's really strong and really morally grounded and a good person.
In all this learning and forgetting, has she at least remembered to stop having sex in front of enchanted dream catchers? Because that seems to not work out well for her.
Yeah, it's like, it's like the original YouPorn channel for vampires. That little flicker thing.
Danielle, one of the really amazing things about the evolution of Davina last year was that she started someone I think a lot of people weren't sure where her loyalties lied and what she really wanted. She was on this incredible journey. She died, she came back, she was good, she was evil. She then resurrected. Michael, what is wrong with you? That is such a bad idea, but I'm really glad you did it. What excites you about this new, seemingly exponentially powerful version of Davina?
I think what's really cool, she's a lot stronger now. She's grown up a lot in the past 2 months and coming back into season 2, she's really kind of playing by her own rules now. She's not being tossed around anymore, and she's not really taking it from everyone else. She's kind of, she's into an outcast.
I like it. But it's an interesting sort of conundrum she finds herself in because if Klaus is her ultimate sort of victim, she has to contend with the fact that if she kills him, she would kill her bestie, and she would kill Marcel. Which is a great move on Klaus's part, I feel.
No, I think the biggest part about it is that she lost way too many people that she cares about, and I think now the biggest thing for her is her biggest strength is the people that she cares about and that she loves, but at the same time it's her biggest weakness.
Absolutely. For the guys,
I just have to interrupt because we all started this morning doing an interview together, and nobody could make a sentence. Literally on camera, probably posted online right now, that a single one of us could formulate a clear thought. So I'm sitting here listening to everybody be brilliant, and I'm like, it's super funny.
We got one now.
we give them a lot of help. For Joseph and Daniel, by having Davina bring back their parents into this world, it obviously presents an interesting sort of twist in their feelings of family. For a long time, that's all Klaus wanted was just to have a family, and now that maybe has too much family. Maybe he doesn't want to have family. What can you say about that?
I think, certainly bringing back Michael is going to force him to sort of face up to his relationship with his father, and then obviously how that translates into him becoming a father, and how much of the way he dealt with becoming a father is due to how his father treated him, and how much of it is just his own fault, But as an actor, it's exciting because I get to work with some lovely actors again, and as a show, being a show that's based around family and called The Originals, it's exciting to have some originals.
Yeah, and it's also not just the blind crusade for family. It's more articulate than that. It's about the definition of family, right? I think and what it means to Klaus and Elijah. And once they define that, they'll probably have the kingdom.
Julie, for you and for Michael, talk a little bit about what it means to bring Esther and Michael back to the show and sort of what that sets in motion for season 2.
Well, it kind of explodes season 2 in all the best ways. When we decided to get rid of the other side on Vampire Diaries, we knew that this was our shot, our only shot. And we talked about it a lot last year, sort of saying this is a road that we are ready to go down because this is the only chance we're going to get to bring these characters back. And what was so fun about it is that it then defined really the course of the whole season of storytelling because, when your greatest enemy are the people that actually gave you life and everything that you have to do to defeat them is to dig deep within yourself and find the power that they stole from you throughout your childhood in whatever form. And that's a huge conflict. And it's kind of awesome. I hope. It seems so far.
Yeah, I think if you strip away everything, the problem with being a vampire is that your immortality and the fact that you think of people as food strips you of your connection to humanity, and you start to go a little bit mad. And what is interesting about the Michelson family is they have a built-in connection to their humanity in their connection to one another. And that's why they cling, for better or worse, to their family. And now, the very thing that they cling to, Elijah's connection to Klaus, Klaus's connection to Elijah, their love for this child, their love for Rebecca, their love for Haley, is now coming into jeopardy, and the antagonist is their mother, is the person that you should feel the most love from. And this person is coming back to judge them as abominations and saying, for 1,000 years you have reaped and you have sown, and now I am going to take that away from you. I'm going to have this agenda, which we will unpack over the course of the season. And in addition to that, Davina, who lost the love of her life because of Klaus's machinations, has brought back Michael and now has him on a leash, and he has this desperate agenda to get even with the bastard Klaus. So the people that should love you the most, your mom and your dad, want to destroy you. So if you're already mad and you're already crazy because of this horrible situation of being a vampire, and now you're completely losing your humanity because even the family that you have relied on is starting to attack you, things are going to start to implode. And that's what we're dealing with.
I like that you guys term family as a four-letter word with your originals. I think that.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. But you brought up the R word, Rebecca. I'm curious. I mean, obviously we saw Claire in the finale. She's obviously coming back. Do you have any plans to have her back in season 2 at the start?
Well, I can say that the trailer that you guys saw actually is footage from the first 3 episodes, and so there was her smiley little face, so we know we're going to trailer these once.
Does that mean... Does she come back with sort of like Hope and Bjorn, or does she largely not bring her back to New Orleans?
Well, the whole point is how to keep, the secret that Hope is alive out of New Orleans while still trying to make New Orleans a home for Hope, which sounds starting to sound like a Hallmark commercial. We've been in the writers' room and we think, like, how could we get that moment that we're all dying to see, at least we're dying to see, I'm dying to see, where Haley and Klaus maybe get to hold their child again, and not be in a context where they're being stupid or putting, her in jeopardy. So I hope that we can find that this year.
One of the other faces we saw in the trailer was Daniel Sharman. I'm not sure if they like that choice. What can you sort of tease about who he plays in this world and which of these guys he ends up interacting with?
Well, he's Caleb. He's naughty, mysterious. What's this guy want in life? He's flirting with a girl here.
Get a smile on this
What do you think about Daniel Sharman and Caleb Sarah?
I think he's a great actor.
You kind of intrigued me. If I were you, I would say, I'm waiting on you.
Davina meets Caleb, and she's a bit smitten, but she's also not really ready to trust people right now either, so he's gonna have a hard time.
I can understand why she'd be a little untrusting of just anyone at this point. I kind of get it. Charles, what about Marcel? I mean, I feel like he, had, like I said, some Dreamcatcher loving, but beyond that, is there anything more...
Now I'm calling it that.
I mean, I'm not trademarking anything, I'm just saying. That's how we watched it. What can you sort of say about what the future holds for him, whether it's with Cammy or another one of his many suitors?
There's definitely some romance I think carried over from season 1. And I see your dream daydreaming over there. So yeah,
I think you're such a dream. No, it's fine. You go ahead.
we'll get to you in a minute. Seems like that chemistry. Look at the chemistry we have.
Right with chemistry. Us too.
Yeah, so there's still some of this there. And yeah, I think the door is also open for any additional shipping and romance. But I think Marcel has his hands full with trying to rebuild his vampire community, which has been whittled down to him and Josh.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think they can do it, right?
Was that sort of a surprise for you guys in the writers' room
actually in the audience, and I will now say in front of God and everybody that about 3 episodes deep, I was like, before I've seen any footage, I said, okay, it's time to start planning how we're going to kill Josh, you know, like, for a character, like, gotta kill Josh. It's gonna be great for that. And all the writers in the room were like, you killed Josh, you were the enemy of all good. And I kept saying, well, that's the point. Like, I learned that from Kevin, the master, Williamson himself. It's like, you kill the characters you like. That's what takes people by surprise. So every now and then I was like, okay, so in this episode, somebody say, oh, we're in this battle, and I say, and then Josh dies. And they would all go, no. Anyway, and then I started watching Josh. I'm like, oh, I really like him. He's good. And I should kill him because I like him so much. But he's, you know, he's Josh. He can't quite keep my pipe loose.
I like that. Any chance, I mean, if we're talking about love, is there any chance